Hey everyone, this is Dahlia, and as many of you might know, I help young professionals to get international careers. And so I wanted to hop on right now just because there is a big problem I see coming back over and over again, and that is that many of you are stuck inside this vicious cycle of needing experience in order to get experience. So let me know now in the comments if that is something that you're facing. So that feeling of frustration because you know that you have a lot to offer, you know that you are meant to be doing something more, that you're meant to be doing a job that really matters, and you know that if only you could be given the opportunity to do it, you would rise to the challenge and you would get it done. But the problem is that nobody will give you that opportunity because they're all saying, oh, you don't have the relevant work experience just yet. So tell me in the comments if you feel this frustration and if that is your problem right now. So when this happens, when we get stuck in this vicious cycle of needing experience to get experience, it often leads us to start thinking, it's just not fair. I know I could do a great job and I'm just not being given the opportunity. And no matter what I do, there's no way I can get that opportunity because everyone just looks at my lack of experience. How am I going to be able to prove myself? And so I wanted to talk about that today, and I wanted to give you 3 concrete ways for you to break out of that lack of experience cycle. So the first thing I just want to point out to you, if you feel like you're in this cycle right now, is that it's not just young people who are stuck in this cycle. So I get people coming to me who are older, who have been in the job market 10, 20, sometimes 30 years, and they often tell me that they can't get to where they want to go because they lack experience. So why is that when they have so many years of experience under their belt? Well, the reason is that whenever we want to make a change, the point of that change is that it's something different from where we are right now, which means that we're not doing that thing right now, which means that it's a different type of experience that we're looking for. So this whole lack of experience issue, I want you to know that it's something that you're going to be faced with your entire life as long as you're someone who wants to grow and who wants to upgrade. So you're never going to be 100% ready for something. You're never going to be 100% perfect for something unless all that you're doing is doing the exact same thing that you're doing right now. Anytime that you want to upgrade, anytime you want to grow, anytime you want to make a change, you're going to be faced with this issue of not currently having that exact experience. The whole point is that you're looking for a new experience, right? So I just want you to know that it's not just young people or people who are fresh grads who are struggling with this. That being said, I know that people who don't yet have that many years experience in the job market are going to be saying, yeah. But this is different. I literally don't have any years of experience and everyone's noticing. Oh, and here's my cat saying hi. He has no experience either. Nobody wants to hire him. So so the point is that I can really appreciate that feeling of being a new grad and feeling a new grad, or even someone who's been working for a couple of years but not in the field that you actually want to be in. However, it's important to note that everyone has been in that situation before. I've been in that situation before. All of those successful people in those positions you would like to have, they've been in that position before. None of us are born with experience, right? So we all had to break out of that cycle at one point or another. So what are all of those other people doing to get themselves out of that cycle that you haven't done? Well, it all comes down to 3 things. Well, actually it comes down to 1 thing, which is that you need to learn how to show your value. And your value isn't necessarily the same thing as your experience. And I think that's where people get the 2 confused quite often. So they think that their value is their experience, and that if they don't have experience, they have no value. But that's not true. Just think about people who have been working in the same position for many, many years. Does that make them valuable? Well, maybe, but maybe not. If they're working, if you have 30 years experience working on a typewriter, I mean, your skill is to type, and then the typewriter, computers come in, typewriters disappear. Are you really valuable even though you have 30 years experience? Probably not. And these days, technology is advancing very, very quickly. Every year, new technologies are emerging. And there are a lot of people who are very successful, who are at the top of their fields, and they only have a couple of years experience because that technology didn't even exist a few years prior. So this idea that you need a lot of time and a lot of years to have experience or to have value is not true. Not to say that having many years of experience is not valuable, but it really depends what you did during those years and what you have to show for it. So what is all of the value that you gained during those years that now you can demonstrate? But it's not strictly to do with your experience level. Another thing to realize is that there are so many examples of people out there, really, really successful people who had no experience before they got successful. So people like Thomas Edison, he invented the light bulb without having much professional or educational experience to show him how to create that light bulb. Or if you think about Arianna Huffington, she hadn't worked very long as a journalist before she created the Huffington Post. Or even if you think about Steve Madden, he was selling shoes out of the trunk of his car before he started his big shoe company. And Richard Branson, there's another one, very famous entrepreneur who didn't really get formal education or have much experience before he became really successful. So I know that these are all entrepreneurs, and some of you might be thinking, well, what about those successful people who are in real positions? I mean, people who are hiring, they do just want to look at my experience. Well, even those successful people who are in hiring positions, they at one point didn't have experience either, and they had to get that experience. So they had to break out of this cycle. So I want to give you now 3 things that you can do in order to break out of the cycle. And so the first one is you need to recognize your value. And as we were discussing before, you need to recognize your value beyond just years of experience. So what do you really have to offer without looking at how many numbers of years and positions and things like that are on your resume? You need to get very clear about that. And I know that that can be quite difficult to be able to see on your own. And that's where I really help people to show them what their value is, because it can be very, very helpful to have an external kind of review of what your value is, what you actually have to offer. And so once you're clear on that value, it's time to bring it to the world. So there are a couple of ways to do that. 2 of the main ways is to make personal connections, so build relationships with people and demonstrate your value that way. That's something that we do in my program. And then the third way is to demonstrate your value using this wonderful tool that we have access to these days, which is social media. So social media allows you to show your value. It allows you to create an experience for people that demonstrates your value. And then you just have to make that experience be congruent with the value that you have to offer and with the experience that you offer in person. So these are the ways that we can demonstrate our value, and these are the kinds of things that in my program my clients go through, and that is how they're able to be so successful at getting amazing positions even if they have very, very little work experience or very little relevant work experience in a specific field. It's all about recognizing the value and then communicating that value in a way that is really congruent with who they are, the kind of mission that they want to be accomplishing in the world, and the kind of work that they want to be doing. So I really hope that that makes sense to everyone. Please let me know in the comments if that myth is now busted. I hope that nobody still believes that, you know, not having enough experience is something that should hold you back, and that all you need is to get some opportunity and then you'll break out of that cycle. No, that lack of experience cycle is something that accompanies you for life unless you build that skill of understanding what your value is and how to demonstrate that value according to the next step that you're going for. So it's such a valuable skill to know, and so important when it comes to advancing your career and getting the kinds of life experiences that you want. So I know that it can be very difficult to understand our own value and what we have to offer. That's why it's one of the key things that I work on with my clients, really uncovering that value and recognizing it and knowing how to communicate it. So if you're still stuck on this, if you're stuck in that vicious cycle of needing experience to get experience, then don't just keep waiting for hopefully some opportunity to come up, for hopefully that cycle to break. Get in touch with me either by direct message, or you can book a session. You can access my calendar by going to accelerateyourambitions.com/apply. You can book a slot for a career roadmap session together. And then there's going to be a quick application form to fill out. And after that, what we do is we get on a session together at the time that you chose, and we go through everything that's going on in your career right now. We look at where you are, where you want to go, what is stopping you from getting there, whether that's lack of experience or also some other problems. And then we craft a roadmap to see what exactly you need to do to overcome those obstacles. So I'm really looking forward to speaking to you about this, to uncovering what your value really is, and with helping you with all of your careers so that you don't get stuck in any of these things that are just holding you back from bringing your value to the world and doing some good work and making the world a better place. So there you go. I hope that was helpful today. Let me know in the comments if you have other questions or if that resonated with you. I'm really looking forward to hearing more about your situations. And yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a good rest of the day. Oh, and happy Easter as well, because I know it's some of you are celebrating Easter this weekend and have a long weekend off. So have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.